Hello, happy Wednesday. We are the middle of the week. Yay, we made it so far. I hope you're going strong. We just have a few more days before we can say, hey, it's the weekend. But until then, hey, one day at a time in God's grace and mercy. And we know we have so many battles to fight inward and outward that we need the Spirit of God with us 24/7. So, yesterday we read chapter 13 of 2nd Chronicles and saw the defeat of the children of Israel who were following Jeroboam um, against the children of Rehoboam with Judah. Just the two tribes were following Rehoboam, and they prayed because as a matter of fact, Rehoboam is no longer the leader. Abijah, his son, was the leader then, and they accused the children of Israel, not accused, but told them, hey, y'all are not following God. And he told them straight off, y'all have been making false sacrifices and using vile and lowly men to be priests and doing everything that was abominable in God's sight. So when the children of Israel, led by Jeroboam, tried to ambush them in front and behind, the people of Judah and Jerusalem prayed, and God heard them and gave them victory over the children of Israel. It's still brethren fighting each other, okay? But one set, they know for sure they have gone away from God because of Jeroboam's selfish wickedness. And the others know that they are still trying to serve God. Not that Rehoboam still didn't do foolishness, but Abijah, his son, kind of wanted to walk with God for the most part. Okay, so let's see what happens in chapter 14. So Abijah slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the city of David, and Asa his son reigned in his stead. In his days the land was quiet 10 years. And Asa did that which was good and right in the eyes of the Lord his God. For he took away the altars of the strange gods and the high places, and brake down the images, and cut down the groves, and commanded Judah to seek the Lord God of their fathers, and to do the law and the commandment. Also he took away out of all the cities of Judah the high places and the images, and the kingdom was quiet before him. Again, I will say this verse: when a man's ways pleases the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Asa tried to do what was right in God's sight. He removed all the idolatrous symbols and emblems and artifacts and things, and he had peace for 10 years because God had blessed him. Okay, verse 6. And he built fenced cities in Judah, for the land had rest, and he had no war in those days. Just like Solomon, when God gave him rest because of him having to build a temple and his palace, no one came up against them. Okay? Verse 7. Therefore he said unto Judah, let us build these cities, and make about them walls and towers, gates and bars, while the land is yet before us, because we have sought the Lord our God. We have sought him, and he has given us rest on every side. So they built and prospered. Verse 8. And Asa had an army of men that bare targets and spears out of Judah, 300,000, and out of Benjamin that bare shields and drew bows, 280,000. All these were mighty men of valor. Now, Judah and Benjamin were the only two tribes being ruled under Asa, starting with Rehoboam. Okay, after Solomon, the tribes spread apart again because God had said it would happen. Solomon had allowed idolatry into Israel. And then Jeroboam took over, and he kind of set them into that pace once again because he was afraid of losing the leadership in Israel, and had the people led the people into idolatry again. And God cursed him. Yeah, God punished him for that. And this was part of the punishment, that they lost the war against the people of Judah. So Judah now is following God's ways under Asa, who is Rehoboam's grandson and Solomon's great grandson. And they have a time of peace. So now they're making, they're kind of preparing now, even in times of peace. It's always good to be prepared for what may come next. Okay. So they were making all of their military weapons and things during that time, because you can't wait till you have a war to make weapons to fight with. Okay, verse 9. And not to mention too, remember when they raided the temple in Jerusalem, when the Egyptians and the Syrians raided the temple in Jerusalem and Solomon's house, they took a lot of that war equipment. And there came out against them Zerah the Ethiopian with an host of 1,300 chariots, and came unto Marishah. That's a lot. Then Asa went out against him, and they set the battle in array in the valley of Zephathah at Marishah. And Asa cried unto the Lord his God, and said, Lord, it is nothing with thee to help, whether with many or with them that have no power. Help us, O Lord our God, for we rest on thee, and in thy name we go against this multitude. O Lord, thou art our God, let not man prevail against thee. So the Lord smote the Ethiopians before Asa and before Judah, and the Ethiopians fled. And Asa and the people that were with him pursued them unto Jireh, and the Ethiopians were overthrown, that they could not recover themselves, for they were destroyed before the Lord and before his host, and they carried away very much spoil. So when you cry unto the Lord, you know what they say? The prayers of the righteous availeth much. The prayer of the righteous man availeth much. And this is a good example here again. That's why we read the scriptures. So we can have that encouragement that yes, God will hear and answer our prayers. And God helped them out, and they were able to defeat their enemies. And verse 14, and they smote all the cities round about Jerah, for the fear of the Lord came upon them. And they spoiled all the cities, for there was exceeding much spoil in them. They smote also the tents of cattle, and carried away sheep and camels in abundance, and returned to Jerusalem. I would say this. These nations back then, they were not poor. I know today they show us a lot of these places in the Middle East. Maybe times have changed. The people have really, I don't know, moved far away from God. But these people, and I'm talking about the heathen nations too, they were wealthy. They were living off the land, and the land must have been producing abundantly back then, because every time they raided, when they went to war, the children of Israel had so much spoils. Unbelievable. They got rich. Really and truly, the wealth of the just was stored up, the wealth of the wicked rather was stored up for the just, and they got wealthy off of these spoils. And that's the end of chapter 14 for today. Short chapter. So once again, we see the children of Judah calling out to God against their enemies, and God answering them and giving them the victory over their enemies. Bless the Lord, O my soul. And that's it for today. Short chapter, short readings, but keep on listening, because you know what? That's how our faith comes. So until our next reading, take care. Bye.